Welcome
to Whips and Sips.
I'm Justine.
And I'm Shelley.
Today is Saturday, October 30th, 2021. And this is our very first Flosstube.
And probably our last, if I'm being completely honest. The first time we attempted this, we did not have it in video mode, so we just took pictures of ourselves.
Little does she know I'm going to frame them up and send them to her.
So, yeah, that was good. We should probably tell them a little bit of ourselves. Them. Tell them. Them. The them is probably my sister Shannon and our friends Chris and Mike, which, by the way, Mike, this is all your fault. I just want to say that right now. I'm doing this under duress, so...
Don't drink your pop and wash us at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just tell them a little bit about ourselves, should we?
You go for it.
So again, my name is Shelley, and we live in Minnesota, by the way. Minnesota. And I live in a little town called Mapleton, Minnesota, which is about 35 miles here from my favorite L&S here, Welcome Stitchery. So, yeah, I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump from Justine's shop. I've been married for almost 27 years in December. And my husband and I have a son that's 23 years old and a daughter that's 21 years old. So
Who Bon Jovi said we're cute kids, by the way. I just have to tell you that.
Yeah. We'll tell Bon Jovi stories in a later Flosstube, if there is one.
Because it's our life.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we have a son and a daughter, and we have we're Shih Tzus. We're empty nesters now, so it's all about the dogs, quite frankly. So, yeah. I am a project coordinator for a company out of Mankato, Minnesota. By the way, we're about 2 hours south of the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area.
We call it the Twin Cities.
The Twin Cities, yep.
And about an hour and a half from Rochester.
Yeah, we're home of the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah. And Blue Earth, where I am at, is home of the Jolly Green Giant.
Yes. So if you ever come to visit Justine at her L&S, when you come into town from the north, there's a 60-foot tall green man standing there with his hands on his hips, nonetheless. So
ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, like I said, I'm a project coordinator. I work in Mankato, Minnesota, which is halfway between Blue Earth and the Twin Cities. And yeah, I used to work to feed my children, and now I work to feed my habit, which of course is cross-stitching. So yeah, go ahead, Justine.
Again, my name is Justine, and I live and work in Blue Earth, Minnesota. And I work at Welcome Stitchery. I have been married for...
Work at it.
Work/play/ 34 years I have been married to my husband. We have 3 kids, 29, 28, and 18. I have been stitching for a long time. I have been stitching a lot in the past 3 to 4 years. And yeah.
What I meant when I said work at Welcome Stitchery, you are the owner and proprietor.
Well, I work. And Shelley will be so nice to tell us how we ended up with Welcome Stitchery in Blue Earth, Minnesota, because it was originally in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Right.
So you tell us how we ended up with it.
Well, you had wanted to go on a stitchy road trip.
A one-day
stitchy road trip.
There and back.
Which, in my opinion, go big or go home. One day was not enough. And I said, why don't we make this a long weekend? Really get away for a few days and let's go a little further east. Let's go into Illinois. And oh, by the way, as long as we're in Illinois, let's go into Indiana, because at the time, my favorite bourbon you could only buy in Indiana. And I used to work with a guy that lived in Indiana, and he would bring it to me. But I no longer work with him, and so I needed an excuse to get to Indiana to get my favorite bourbon. So
it's all about the booze.
yeah, exactly. So no, we decided to go leave Blue Earth on a Thursday, I think we did. And
So.
we drove out hitting shops. I think we hit 6 or 7, 6 for sure. Maybe 7 shops between here and LaPorte, Indiana was the last shop that we hit on our way. And yeah, I got my bourbon.
And I got a store.
Yeah, maybe you should tell them how that happened.
Well, Shelley and I went into Welcome Stitchery. Actually, Shelley, because it was during COVID.
Yep.
So she had called and scheduled a time for us to come.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in the store and we just had a blast. Everything that the owners had, and we just loved it. And we got to checking out, and I said, I love this store. And the gal checking us out said, well, it's for sale. And I said, well, would you be interested in selling it to me and me moving it to southern Minnesota? A couple weeks later, the owner called me, and the rest is history. So, yeah, they were nice enough to sell it to me, and very, very, nice people, and very nice employees that they had.
Oh,
also.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
So we made another, well, you and I made another trip just to Welcome Stitchery.
Mm-hmm.
And we spent a long weekend with them, just kind of seeing how they ran the store and you know, what a typical weekend was like at the store.
And they were all wonderful to us, the people working there, and the owners was very, very nice.
Yeah.
So,
and then the third trip was to pack up 33 years worth of inventory in a truck and drive it back to Minnesota,
which is fun. Well, it was fun for me. It may not have been fun for everybody else, but yeah. And then you bring everything back and you start unpacking it, and you just look at something, you go, oh, I want to stitch that.
Yeah.
I want to stitch that. My husband would say, focus, Justine, focus.
Yeah, it's hard to pack without shopping at the same time.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Anyway, no, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So you want to show some of your finishes? Fully finished?
Yeah, so we just thought that this first show would be kind of, you know, dipping our toe in the water, so to speak. Very basic. We have a lot of fully finishes. We have a lot of finishes that are not fully finished yet, and we have a lot of whips. Well, I only
she
have...
has a lot of whips.
No. No.
Because we have gone from somebody who wasn't going to stitch to somebody who stitched to somebody who was only going to stitch on one project at a time to somebody that now has 30 whips. Excuse me?
But you have more.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But you have more whips than I do.
I know this
for a fact. So.
And by the way, I don't know if we said this, but Shelley and I have known each other since grade school, along with our other friend Chris, since grade school. And when we go shopping, quite often they'll ask us if we're sisters because we talk like sisters to each other.
We treat each other like sisters.
So we hope we don't offend anybody.
Yeah. We really do like each other.
Most of the time. So I apologize if we offend anybody, but it's just us.
Yeah, it's just the way we are. So anyway, what I was getting at here was we'll just show a couple of things in this Flosstube and hopefully be more organized the next time we get together with you and be able to, maybe we'll do whip parade. Let's do whip parades.
We're going to have to do 2 separate whip parades because she has so many whips.
Yeah.
It would take forever. So.
I do. I have a lot of whips. I fully own that. I have over 30, but Justine has more. So yeah, we'll probably have to split it up into a couple of different shows. But so we'll just give you a couple of examples of our work. You want to hand me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, and of course, I don't have all of my cards out here ready for. Do you have something you can show while I dig these cards out?
I don't have a fully finished, but I have a finish. And this one is Frosty's Night Out by Blackbird Designs. And I could not find the kind of color fabric that I wanted, so this is one of my first projects. But somebody had given me, a friend of mine had given me yellow 22 count hardanger. So Shelly and I during COVID did some dyeing and coffee.
Coffee tea dyeing
Tea dyeing.
yeah.
So I dyed this with blue, I believe, or Ritz blue, and then coffee tea dyed it, and I love it. I can't wait for the gal who gave me the fabric to see what I did with it. So.
It was a really light, like maize yellow to start with. So yeah, it's really cute. It ended up nice. Okay, so one of the first fully finishes I will show you comes out of the Winds of Autumn book by Blackbird Designs. You're going to see a lot of Blackbird. I'm a huge Blackbird fan. That was Blackbird. Justine is also a fan. So I apologize if it seems a bit redundant, but you're going to see. Okay, there we go. So my first fully finish is called Spell of the Moon by Blackbird. And I apologize, I can't find my card for this right offhand, so I don't know what fabric I did it on, but I know for a fact that I used the called for flosses because I'm a firm believer you don't mess with Blackbird. I do change the fabric out of necessity, you know, based on what I have in my stash, but I always use the called for flosses. So that's Spell of the Moon. Put it up here a little closer so you can see it. Finished into a pillow. And I just used coordinating fabric on the back, applied some wool applique to my little area where I stuffed the pillow with a safety pin and some cute little buttons. And then I did a chenille yarn around the outside in black. So that's that one. Another Blackbird, I just started working on this pillow last night. So as you can see, I'm not completely finished yet. This is the...
That's overrated.
Yeah. Well, I ran out of fiber fill.
Oh.
So I like it to be a little bit stiffer. So I need to get some more fiber fill before I can finish it. But this again is Blackbird Designs. This is called Bird in Hand. And I stitched this on 32 count. It's a mystery fabric by Color and Cotton. And it's stitched with Weeks Dye Works Baked Apple. And I decided to do the cross stitch camp this summer with Colorado Cross Stitcher. And this was my June piece for cross stitch camp. So
you got a lot of work done. I mean,
this was a fun stitch.
You did a lot of stitches for that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's gorgeous.
What's funny about cross stitch camp is, as you know, my New Year, New Start piece for 2021 was Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow.
Yes, that's right.
And I had this huge goal for myself. I'm going to stitch a block a month, and I'm going to have this thing done by the end of the year. And I was going great guns.
She has a lot done.
I should show it. I don't know if I have it with me, but I got to June, and that's where I'm still at.
Yeah, but every month she completed one of the whole, plus all her other stitches.
Yeah.
So.
But cross stitch camp started, and I was so involved in that I haven't touched Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow since. So
and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
No one died.
Kinda.
Nobody got hurt.
I'm a little bit okay. So Justine has a name for me. She calls me Annie for short. The full name is Anal Annie. And
yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah. So
keep watching. You'll see.
But yeah, that was hard for me to let that one go, because if I make a goal, I'm pretty. Come hell or high water, I'm gonna hit it. But yeah,
she's pretty by the book. Justine, not so much. Whoa, squirrel!
So another fully finished here. This is Jingle All the Way by the Scarlet House. I did this. Everything called for. It's 32 count swamp linen by Picture This Plus, and I used all the called for overdyed floss. I added a couple of rusty bells here. Justine likes to irritate me, if you can't tell.
That's my goal.
Added a couple of rusty bells, and then on the back again, I did the wool applique with the pins and the buttons.
I think it's gorgeous.
Again, that's Jingle All the Way by the Scarlet House. And you already showed your
Yep.
finish.
So go ahead.
Do you have another
no,
finish?
I'm sorry. I forgot
Okay.
my whips, so I'll show you some next time.
Oh,
But Shelly has some of
goodness.
hers here.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's start with this one. I'll just
these are
show
the
a
fully
couple.
finished. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll just start with. We'll just do a couple because, like I said, in future shows we'll be more organized. We'll be more organized, and we'll show some our other. So this is Merry Christmas by Abby Rose Designs. This is one of the first ones that I stitched when I came back to stitching, and this is just a piece of linen from Hobby Lobby or Joann's or somewhere that I coffee tea dyed and then baked it a little bit to give it that kind of antique look. So
pretty.
one. And let's see. Oh, in the Halloween spirit of Halloween this weekend, tomorrow in fact. This is Ye Old Crow by Heart and Hand. I did this on, I'm not sure what the count is, but it's Tiger's Eye by Weeks Dye Works.
So pretty.
And I may have stitched that in a black, well, maybe I can tell here. No, I don't have the card for it right now. I may have stitched it in a black silk.
Oh, that's another thing. She fell down that rabbit hole
Yes,
too.
I love silks. I love to stitch with silk. I can't afford to stitch with silk all that often, but yes, I do love it. And, oh goodness, one more. How about a Brenda Gervais?
Shelly stitches immaculate.
No, not necessarily, but
yes.
This is, I don't remember what it's called. I don't think it's called Ho Ho Ho, is it?
I don't know.
Sorry. I'm sorry. This is by With a Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And funny thing, Justine kitted this up and gave this to my daughter for her high school graduation. Because if Justine decides you should craft, she's going to make sure it happens. So anyway.
By golly!
It did not happen. And I ended up taking it and stitching it up instead. So,
Somebody used it.
yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's enough for finished pieces, don't you think?
Yes. How about your whips?
What do you have for whips, Justine?
I don't have any whips. They're at home. Did I tell you Shelly has more whips than me?
Okay, I'll show just a couple here. Again, we will do a whip parade
Separately.
in 2 parts.
I'll hold it while you
Hopefully
hold it better.
sometime soon.
Oh,
Okay,
this
yeah.
is just gorgeous.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, my pieces are not, my whips are not ironed. My finished pieces were, but my whips are not. So let me find the card for this. This is, oh, and the pattern. This is Birds of a Feather by Blackbird. I am stitching this on 36 count Spiced Honey by Color and Cotton. And I'm using all of the called for NPI silks.
And you're on their Color and Cotton
And it's
monthly,
luscious. Yes, I am on the Color and Cotton monthly. So this is just a piece of the monthly linen that I pulled out of my stash. But
It's just gorgeous.
yeah. Okay. Next we have,
I'm Brenda right now.
you're Brenda.
Mm-hmm. I'm putting this away for
Okay.
you.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, here we go.
Okay,
Sorry.
when Justine thinks you should craft, when Shelly pulls out a project, she thinks everybody should do the same project. So I did.
Okay. So this is Rose Quaker by, and I'm going to butcher this, Stickadine van der Wienberg. And let me grab my card for this one. Sorry, so unprepared. Rose Quaker, I'm stitching this on a 37 count legacy linen in the color Wild Honey. And I'm using all of the called for DMC thread.
It's just gorgeous.
And I do have a note here, started with Justine, because I made her.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I loved it and I wanted to.
How about this one next, Justine? So the next one is And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. I have a thing for trees. And from the moment I saw this pattern, I knew I had to stitch it. And it probably will take me 10 years, but I will get it done. It's
Rome wasn't built in a day
yeah,
either.
I understand. It's on 32 count Zweigart Belfast linen in the color cream, and I have all of the called for DMC that I'm using. And this, by the way, this was my first sal. I started this with Erin Martini Stitcher on Arbor Day of 2020, for April 24th, Arbor Day of 2020. And the sale is called hashtag all the frickin' trees. So, yeah, I'm sure they're probably all done with theirs. However, I'm not. So,
Well, we're not in a competition. Oh,
and this one, Justine, here's the piece. Sorry, my chair is squeaky. And now I gotta find my card for this. Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. Show you the pattern. This one, Justine will tell you that it took me a while to pick fabric for this one, because when I pulled the tin roof, the Weeks Dye Works tin roof, and did a floss toss, there were several of the threads that I felt were getting lost in the fabric. They were very similar color, and I don't know if it was just a weird dye lot, or I'm not sure, but I ended up going kind of a really different way. I'm stitching this on 32 count Feldspar by Picture This Plus, and I'm using all the called for. There's some DMCs and some overdyes.
so here's Shelley. This took probably an hour and a half to pick out the fabric. Justine took the called for fabric and the floss, and away she went. So
Well, I just wasn't feeling it. So
just goes to show you that everybody's different.
exactly.
I'm right and she's wrong.
So yeah, I think that's a good enough introduction of some of our whips.
Okay. Do you want to show what we're going to stitch on next, or plans, or?
Yeah, why don't you start?
Okay. Since I left my whips at home, I decided that I would go through and pick out what I would like to stitch on. And I have looked at this Heart-Filled Santa. There is 3 different Santas. And I've looked at this since the virtual market. And I want to stitch it with, or on, excuse me, the perforated paper with the called for DMC. I just think they are so cute.
Yeah.
Then the next one that I would like to stitch is from Little House Needleworks, Rudolph Sampler. I just love this. And
is that a series or what?
this one isn't.
Okay.
But there is one coming out called Autumn Farms.
Okay.
And I believe it comes out in November.
Oh, yes. You said you wanted to
And
stitch
yes, I do. I want to stitch it. There's a new one coming out every month, and I want to stitch them all. I don't know if they'll all be at the same month, but I would like to stitch them all. And just like the Christmas, Farmhouse Christmas, how much I liked all those.
Yep.
I never did get those started, so I'm hoping to start the autumn ones.
They're not even started?
It's overrated. They're kitted. They're just not started. So that's it for me.
So plans for me, it's the end of the month, so the new WIPGO numbers have been called. I'm doing WIPGO this year. I'm really glad I did, because I've touched a lot of projects this year that I probably never would have picked up.
Right.
You know, it's just a good way to kind of get through your whips and make sure they see a little love.
Well, and then when you see them, you get excited about them again.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm excited to do my plans for next year's WIPCO.
There you go.
Do you know what you're going to do?
No, haven't figured that out yet.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. The 2 numbers that were called this for November are both patriotic pieces. And my goal is 10 hours on each of them. One of them I might finish in that 10 hours.
Which one's that
we'll
then?
see. I don't remember the names, and I didn't bring them with me, but I think they're not real well known pieces.
Oh, how
I think
fun,
I may
though.
have got them off of Etsy or something.
Oh,
so
they're even. It's fun.
back before you had the shop, of course, but yeah.
Fun.
So I'll be doing that, and other than that, I'm going to be pretty monogamous on Birds of a Feather until I get that finished. So
I don't blame you.
that's the plan.
Nice.
That's the plan. I'm not necessarily a seasonal stitcher. I mean, I have no problem doing patriotic right now and doing Christmas in July or, whatever. Whatever strikes my fancy,
Right.
pretty much.
Right.
So
I do want to tell a couple things that are coming up.
Okay.
Friday, November 12th, we have the holiday sampler here in Blue Earth. And we've been doing the holiday sampler for many years. I think I remember doing it when I was in my 20s working at the bank. And it is from 3 to 9. And what happens is the stores are open and you can pop in and we have a treat, a drink. I believe mine's going to be a warm drink. And Santa and Mrs. Claus arrive in town they're going to be in town from 5 to 8. There's horse-drawn trolley rides. It's just a fun night. The lights are turned on, and over the years we've had very warm nights, we've had snowstorms, we've had rain, we've had everything. So it's fun. And then the following Saturday, which is the 13th, is L&S Day, which is your local needlework store day. So we will be having some sales the Friday and the Saturday. So if you're interested, come on down and see us. And then, of course, the Saturday after Thanksgiving is Small Business Saturday. And there'll be a sale going on then also.
Okay.
So,
Great.
So that's what I have going on. So
What else?
I think that's it.
Did we go through it all?
I think so.
We must have. So, like we said, we just...
I forgot one more
Okay.
thing. I'm sorry. Also wanted to tell you guys that I am on Facebook for Welcome Stitchery. And on Wednesdays, we have a Welcome Wednesday. We go live, so please bear with me. And I'm just going to show the items that have come in for the week and grab some of the other patterns that are around here because there's quite a few around here.
Right.
It's kind of fun to see some of the older ones.
Yeah, it is.
And,
I mean, there's 33 years worth of inventory here, so
yeah,
there's some little diamonds in the rough, I think.
it's kind of fun. That's where I have to focus, Justine, focus. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Speaking of which, too, tell about your website.
Oh,
what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The website is welcomestitchery.com, and it is a major work in progress. I have lots of items to get in, and I've graciously had some very nice people helping me. That's a compliment.
Oh,
Shel.
thank you.
Yeah. They don't come up very often, so there you go.
Take it when I can get it.
And I put new items in every day. Of course, the newer products, the newer patterns they get put on right away when they come in the door. But I have a lot to put in, and we work on it weekly. I have many threads here. I have Classic Colorworks and Weeks in the system, so they're on the online. I have Gentle Arts. They're not quite in the online yet. I have Cosmo, Sulky, Anchor.
Every thread known to man,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I mean, I have never heard of some of these, so.
And I don't know if I will keep them all in stock, but I plan on keeping quite a few. And I have a lot of silks. So if you see something, or if you go to the website and you don't see anything you like, please give me another try again, and even a week.
Or give her a call.
Yep, or give me a call, and I will look it up for you. So
yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't know what I was saying.
Well,
Oh, I was saying that, as we said when we first started, this is just kind of us dipping our toe in the water. So this is a short one to start off with. And I don't think we want them to necessarily be long, but
no.
we will certainly have more content next time.
I'll remember my words.
And we'll be more organized, as I said earlier. So I see some spreadsheets and an agenda in the future. So we'll...
Jen Lee, she's got you.
Yeah. Anyway, so hopefully we won't be quite so green.
But at the same time, we want to have fun doing this. So.
Exactly right.
So
Exactly right. So that's it. So cheers to stitching.